The last few problems get a little bit harder because it kind of puts together a couple of formulas. Now, one formula we've had when we were finding the slope, remember this one? That rise over the run. So now they're not going to tell us the slope. In every other problem so far, they've told us what m is. Now we have to find m, and then we have to use our equation of a line formula. So lots of stuff to do. All right, so the first thing you always have to do with equations of lines is find the slope. If they don't tell you the slope, you have to find the slope. So I'm going to find the slope by this formula here. So just like on the previous lesson, remember how we lined up our x's and y's to help us find the slope? So our y's, so I'm going to have 3 minus 7 over our x's. There's my slope. Now I have to use my point slope formula. Well, what point do I choose? It doesn't matter. You can choose the -1, 3 or the 4, 7. I'm going to choose the 4, 7 just because it doesn't have a negative. But if you choose the other one, we'll still get the same exact answer, I promise. Right? So here's my formula. Again, the more you write it, the more you will memorize it. So we have y minus, and I'm going to choose that one, 7, equals the slope I found of 4/5. And then I'm going to use that x coordinate. You have to pick one point. You can't use an x from one and a y from another. You have to use this one point. Now I'm going to get rid of the fractions by multiplying by that denominator. I'm going to distribute. What happens on this other side? That's right, the 5's reduce, and I just distribute the 4. And I'm going to add 35 to both sides. That's going to give me, what, a positive 19. Then I'm going to divide everything by 5. And there's my answer in that slope-intercept form. I challenge you to work that problem using -1, 3, and you will get the same answer. Let's practice a few more. So again, I'm going to line up my x's and y's. So I need to find my slope. And you just need to be really careful about all those negatives. So again, I'm going to make those double negatives positive. And I have -3 over +8. There's my slope. Again, pick a point. I think this time I'll pick that one just because it has one less minus sign. Again, you could pick the other one. It doesn't matter. So I have y minus a -4 equals my slope of -3/8, then x minus 3. So I'm going to make that plus, and let's see, what am I going to need to multiply by? 8. So distribute your 8. The 8's reduce. Don't forget that negative sign. Be really careful. So I have -3x plus 9. Subtract 32 from both sides. And what's that? 23. Divide by 8. Your final answer. You can see most of the answers are pretty ugly, but that's just kind of life sometimes. All right, the next few examples, a little bit different. What's this X-intercept of 5 and Y-intercept of 1? What's that? And I still have to find an equation of a line. Well, just to tell you, when I'm not sure of things, if I can draw a picture, I do. I'm kind of a picture learner. So let's see. It says an x-intercept of 5. Well, that means it goes through the x-axis at 5. Remember that? And I have a y-intercept of 1. So my line that they're wanting me to find looks like that. Now somewhere along the line I have to find the slope. Well, did we do that with pictures before? I think we did. Didn't we say, well, if we had this point and this point, how would I get there? Yeah, I went down 1 and over 5. Down 1 and over 5. If you didn't draw a picture, well, I think it'd be a little bit harder, but that's what I'm going to do. Well, I still need points and stuff, or do I? It says it has an x-intercept of 5 and a y-intercept of 1. Well, isn't that y-intercept, isn't that b? Well, let's see. I have m and b, and I'm supposed to write a line in the answer of y equals mx plus b. Do I have everything? I think I do. So y equals mx plus b. And I'm done. So drawing that picture I think was very helpful. Let's see if we can do it again on number 12. Has an x-intercept of -3 and a y-intercept of +4. And so I need to find the slope. So if I go from here to here, I have to go down and left. Down and left. So I had to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's -4. And I have to go left 1, 2, 3. So that's -3. And a negative over negative is a positive. And I can also look at my line. It should have a positive slope. Remember that? I'm going left to right and going up, so that's positive. And again, they told me that b was 4. So I have m and I have b. So every time you have an equation of a line, you must find the slope. We have 2 more examples. Yep, we're back to the points. Let's see if you can remember some things we've had in previous lessons. Well, hopefully you remember about the slope. So if I line those up, and remember we do the y's over the x's, what's going to happen here? Oh, I have 0. And 0 over something is 0. What does that tell me? That tells me that this is a horizontal line. And all horizontal lines are always in the form of y equals a number. Well, you're saying which number? The y's are the same. Oh, and a couple of lessons ago I said, hey, if the y's are the same, your slope is going to be 0 and it's going to be a horizontal line. Here it is again. So what is y equal to? -6. Look at number 14. What's the same here? The x's. Do you remember about the x's? Well, let's pretend you don't remember. And I put them underneath each other. And I try to find the slope. Let's see. I would get 4 on top of 0. 0 in the denominator cannot do. That is undefined. So what kind of line has an undefined slope? Vertical. And all vertical lines are x equals. And what does x equal to? -7. So again, if they give you points and you notice the y values are the same, just skip right to the answer. If you notice the x's are the same, just skip right to the answer. Now when I say skip to the answer, you better make sure you've read the directions. Did they ask you to find the slope? Then this would be the answer. This would be the answer. If they ask you for the equation of the line, then those are the answers. So make sure you're reading the directions.